Fathers who went to get milk and never come back? What happened? When my wife and I found out she was pregnant with twins, I had no other option but to work in a different country to support them while I was gone. I didn't even consider what my life would be like. When I moved back and after 2 years I came home, we now lived in a different state where I had no friends or family. My wife completely changed and I could barely handle the kids. I wasn't ready for this life that night. When my wife came home, we talked about the future together. However, I had already made up my mind. I had some money saved and was going to leave it all for them the next morning. I told my wife I had to run out to the store trying to keep it together. My daughter overheard this and ran up to me. She said, "Daddy, bring me home." A surprise, this hit me hard and it took everything not to break down right there. I could see her waving to me as I pulled out of the driveway. Then I just drove to a busy street and bawled my eyes out. For an hour that day, I walked back into my house with toys for my girls and a new ring for my wife. I could tell she thought it was odd, but she never said anything about it from that day on. I got my together years later. I couldn't be happier with my family, and leaving them would have been the biggest mistake of my life.
Being the unloved daughter of a mother, I was always the invisible one in my family. My mother had a way of looking past me, as if I were a shadow, just there but not quite present. She had her favorites, and I wasn't one of them. I was overshadowed by my sister and brother. Girls always want praise from their mothers. That's what I wanted. I always worked for it. A quick glance, no praise, no acknowledgement. I wanted to scream, to ask why she couldn't see me, why she couldn't see that I was trying. I've always been a clumsy person, so every move I make, I'm wondering if I'm gonna screw this up. And these thoughts make me more clumsy every time I'd see that disappointment in her eyes. But she doesn't realize that she's the cause of my clumsiness. But that's not all. Listen, please. I'm not good at sports. I just like math, reading books, and painting. There were nights I sat in my room, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I had done wrong. Why couldn't I be enough? What else could girls do if their mothers didn't love them? Whatever it was, it didn't matter. Wishing I could be someone else. Can anyone hear my voice?
My brother made fun of me for not having kids. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting warm light across the backyard where my brother played with his kids. Laughter filled the air, and I couldn't help but feel like an outsider. As I watched them, he turned to me with a teasing grin and made a joke about not being Abshay to have children. He never knew how deeply that stung. I'd always wanted children, but a disease had taken that dream from me. While his world revolved around the joy and chaos of family, mine was quieter, filled with different adventures, traveling, creating art, finding solace in the things I loved. His lighthearted jabs felt like a reminder of what I'd lost. I stood up to leave, the weight of my unfulfilled dreams heavy on my shoulders.
My family or expensive clothes? My husband wants me to sell designer clothes my well-off friend gave me. The clothes total in $3,000, with 2 of the articles costing $1,000 and $1,500. The price tags were left on the articles of clothing. It's an extremely fancy brand I've only ever seen on TV, Armani. I could never afford these articles of clothing, and I was really excited to style it. I got special bags for them to stay in. I could never purchase these. My husband thinks I should sell them and that they'd help us afford a new couch. The idea of a few pieces of fabric being worth a couch is insane to me, and I get why he wants to sell it, but I don't want to. He's upset and saying I'm putting this fabric before our family's comfort. I think I'd offend my friend if I returned them, and I also don't want to. I don't know what to do. I just feel so bad. What do you think I should do? Am I a bad wife?
I have to choose between my son and my new wife. I have a 14-year-old son from a previous marriage. My wife passed away 2 years ago. My son and I have been visiting the British Museum every year on her birthday since she passed away, as it was something my ex-wife loved deeply. My son loves to do this, but I can't say my new wife likes it very much. I understand her. Now, however, we recently found out we are expecting a child together. She told that the money I've used for the trip could be better used to be saved for the baby, and we could instead do something else for my son's birthday. I thought about it and I agreed, but he doesn't ask for gifts, cake, or a party. All he cares about is this goddamn museum. We broke the news to my son yesterday and he flipped out. He accused my wife of doing this on purpose because she already doesn't like me, he said. I yelled at him and he started crying, and for the last 24 hours he hasn't spoken to me. Am I a bad father?